This video is sponsored by Manscaped, and today is the last day you're going to see the BMW M140/M2 140i in this sort of half and half colour. Now, quite randomly, we start the video off where I bought the BMW E46 M3 from. If you've not seen that video, it's in the top right hand corner now. So we've came here because the guys have found service history and a spare key for the E46, and that is an absolute bonus, but we'll look at that in a future video. For now, it's about the 140i, and we need to carry on to the next location. Okay, and we've arrived at the second stop of the day, which is of course AUTOID. So these guys specialise in loads of aftermarket body parts. The 140i is now parked in here because we're just picking up a few parts before I go home and tear this apart to wrap this thing. We're picking up this M2 comp front splitter here in carbon, looking sick. And these side skirt extensions here, which sort of ride on the back of the side skirts. Now, I was going to get a full long side skirt extension, but remember, we had to sort of extend this side skirt here because the M2 one was longer than the 140 one, so it definitely wouldn't have fit if we got a 140i side skirt extension, but these will fit nicely with that front splitter. And then finally, these mirror units here, which we'll get onto later in the video. So a massive shout out for AUTOID for sorting out the 140 with some fresh parts. I'll put a link in the description as well. Finally back at the unit now, where we will be changing the colour of the 140. Hopefully this is going to look good. Now, we've got my weird and wonderful car collection behind me, and we've got to do a bit of moving around before we get the 140 in. But before the 140 goes in for the colour change, there is one modification that I'd like to do, which I think some of you are going to agree on and some of you are not. And that mod is a rear wiper delete, so let's crack onto it. Okay, this always seems like a Marmite modification, but I always think it makes the rear of the car look 10 times smoother. First step is to actually remove the wiper blade, which is just a 10mm bolt. Then we need to open up the boot, remove the rear panel on the inside to access the wiper motor, which is just held in by two 13mm bolts and an electrical connector. Then we're left with a hole in the boot, and this is where it gets a little bit messy. Now, I have no experience in any type of body shop or body shop repairs at all, but we're just going to wing it as we go along with this bit of fiberglass. I used the fiberglass mixture to fill the hole, make sure it was nice and smooth, and then I waited for it to dry. Once it had dried, I could then sand it down to make sure the fiberglass sits actually inside the hole. And then you're left with a little lip between the boot and the fiberglass. And to smooth this lip out, I used some body filler. I mixed up the body filler, applied it to the hole, then waited for that to dry, and then used sandpaper to make sure it is nice and smooth. And you know what? The final product actually wasn't too bad. I'm just hoping that the wrap would stick to it. But I think that looks really good. Where do I sign up for the body shop? So that is de-wiped. I know it looks a little bit weird at the minute, but it is nice and smooth. Wrap probably won't stick to that at the moment, so we're probably going to have to put a bit of primer, sand it, and then put a bit of lacquer as well. But it's actually, well, it's turned out okay. You've got to wait for the end product. I think, well, it's a weird modification for some people, but some people like it. I personally think it makes the rear of the car just look a little bit cleaner. But for now, let's get this inside the unit and we can begin to start wrapping this thing. Is in and kind of ready. We need to strip this thing apart and then we can crack on with wrapping it. Let's do it. Now, there's loads of different techniques to wrapping a car, and I don't think one way is right or one way is wrong, but I like to strip the car apart as much as possible to make sure the wrap can get in any recesses and gaps in between the panels. I like to remove the arch lining because that tends to be really dirty, and of course the front bumper, any trims, the headlights as well, and also the door handles. And that's going to make it a lot easier for us when wrapping it. Okay, so now the 140 is now pretty much all stripped down, ready for us to wrap the car. Now, eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed from the start of the video to now, I've had a little trim, and that's not the only thing I've been trimming. I've been using Manscape's new Lawnmower 4.0 to keep my carrot and peas looking trim and fresh. It comes equipped with an LED light, it's fully waterproof and it has skin safe technology. I'm really impressed with Manscape's lawnmower as I've used other brands before and it's had a bad ending. And as I've ordered Manscape's Performance Package 4.0, I also got the Weed Whacker with the same skin safe technology as the lawnmower. This is taking care of all the unwanted hairs in the nose and the ears as well. The Performance Package 4.0 also comes equipped with ball deodorant and ball toner as well to keep you smelling as well as looking fresh. So if you need to do a bit of manscaping, you can grab the Performance Package 4.0 with help from the link in the description box below. And if you use code Armstrong20, you're going to get yourself 20% off plus free international shipping. Not only that, you'll also get 2 free gifts, the Shed travel bag and also the Manscaped anti-chafing boxers. Once again, thanks Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Let's go check the wrap colour out of the 140i. Now inside this box here is the fate of the BMW 140i. Now let me tell you, choosing these colours is extremely hard. There's a lot of high expectations and once I've wrapped the car, I sort of never want to wrap another car again for at least another 6 months or so. Now I've never been one to uniform all the colours of all my cars. I like to go for different colours for different cars, but as soon as I bought that E46 M3, that Laguna Blue looked so good. Check out this colour. I don't know, again, it's going to be one of them that once it's on the car, it may look completely different, but I say it does look more blue on camera, but it's in real life, it's sort of a greeny colour. But don't count me out just yet, I'm doubting it as much as you guys. There's only one way to find out how good this is going to look on the car, and that is, well, to get it on the car. So let's crack on. I don't got time to be thinking about things we can't figure out. Maybe I'm better off without you and your dirty mouth. Now you guys have watched me wrap enough cars now, you should be able to do it yourself. But with this wrap, it's a little bit different to usual. This is actually a really cheap wrap film that I haven't used before, and it only costs £325 for 18 meters, which hopefully should be enough for the 140i. Now every wrap brand is different and works in a different way, but using this I was actually really impressed with it. It's got a really nice glossy finish to it, but I did find that it scratched really easily when using the squeegee on it, so I had to spray it with quick detailer before using the squeegee on it. Now with the front end being white, it made it a little bit harder to wrap because you have to cover every single bit. You cannot get away with anything when the car is white. But we managed. Then moving on to the side of the car, which is a huge piece, going all the way from the rear quarter along the top of the car on the A-pillar. Now wrapping a car is very time consuming and takes a lot of patience, and you have to be in the right mind frame to do it. So I take a lot of breaks in between doing it. I try to use as little heat as possible just to avoid any overstretching or discoloration of the wrap. But in places like the door handle recess, you need to make sure you use a lot of heat. Now to do the side skirts, I wasn't able to do this in my ramp, so I had to roll it off my ramp, get it on axle stands, and then lay down on the floor to do the side skirts. Okay, and what a mad couple of weeks that has just been. I actually started this 2 weeks ago and it is still not finished yet. We'll get onto that later, but only this half is done, but I think it's looking so good at the minute, and I'm really impressed with this cheap wrap. So to do this whole car, it was only £325, that's for 18 meters of this wrap, and it's left a really shiny gloss finish, and there's no sort of orange peel. Yes, it does show up some scratches here and there, but for a wrap, that is looking really glossy, and I'm really impressed with that. And do you know what as well? The side skirt, which obviously was extended here, it is fully disguised now. You would never know that that was an extended side skirt off an M2. I'll be interested to see what it's going to look like with the M2 front end on, but we've not got that far yet with the wrapping. Now, I actually started wrapping this 2 weeks ago on the Sunday, and as I started, I then became ill, and then it just makes you realise how labour intensive wrapping a car actually is. Especially when you're a one-man band. This is definitely not a 5-minute job, and if you guys have ever tried to wrap anything yourselves, you'll realise how long and how time consuming it actually does take. Now there's one thing that I don't quite like about the wrap so far, and I didn't really think it through beforehand, and that is the interior. So inside we've got a red interior with now a bright blue exterior, but I don't like the seats in this anyway. I feel like they look too more comfort spec, so maybe we take the M4 seats out of the M4 and put them in here and then get some new seats for the M4. Now check this colour outside in the natural light. It looks 10 times better than in the unit. How good does that look? It's more of like a baby blue outside in this light, and this is just only a taster of what it's going to look like. I'm so excited to finally get the front end on it, get it all wrapped up, and then we can see what it looks like and see whether we need that sort of rear arch kit on the rear. This colour and the finish on the wrap, I'm so impressed with. It's got a super high gloss finish to it, and it's reflecting it almost like paint as well. There's literally no orange peel on it at all. I'm so happy with that. And those wheels and that colour of the wheels are going so nicely. Yes, they are dirty, but we'll sort that when we wrap the rest of the car. And all the cars are slowly getting there. We've got the Lambo back finally. We've got the Maserati, and well, the RS5, that's the next video. But for now, we need to do a little fix on this M4, something that I've not done the whole time of owning it, and it's starting to, well, it is annoying me. So let's get inside. Okay, so I've been daily in the M4 since I've fixed it, and I've had no problems with it at all. But on this notification screen right here, we do have a few more problems. One is an SOS call system failure, which we'll get to that. And the other one is a headlight vertical aim control failure. We're gonna fix this one at the minute because it's doing my head in. Okay, so right under here is the reason why that headlight adjustable aim control is on, and that's because there's no wires going into this connector right here, and this thing recognizes how high the car is, so it can adjust the headlights to how high the car is, if that makes sense, so you're not blinding people on the road. And there is well, all the wires are ripped out of it. Okay, so right here is the wires, and they have clearly been ripped out in the accident, and it's just something that I never got around to fixing because, well, it's hardly the most important thing. So I've got the plug off, and I'm just gonna have to repin this, put the wires in, and hopefully that should fix it. So to remove the pins, I bought a special little pin removal tool off eBay. It was only a couple of quid, and I could literally just push the electrical pins out. Now luckily there was a bit of wire left on the pin, so I know which wire went into what pinhole. Then I can simply just repin the wires, push them back into the electrical connector, and hope for the best. Right, let's see if that works. Come on. It was not the best wiring, I admit, but it should be connecting and it should do the job. Let's turn the ignition on, please. Come on. Ignition. Switched on. We know about this one. It seems we have a winner. There is no more headlight control replacement thingamabob. Get in, job done and fixed. Actually, I'll just turn it on just to make sure. Yes, we are good to go. Come on. But I guess that is job done for today. I'm really sorry that I've not been able to get the full car done. It does take a lot of time and effort, but believe me, as soon as this camera goes down, I am straight back on the 140. Now just put the headlights back in just to have a little taster of what it would actually look like. But I think now that front arch doesn't look as dramatic as what it did before. Before, it stood out like a sore thumb and it made it just look, the front end look really wide compared to the rear end. But now, I think think it more suits it. This is going to look so good once it's finished, trust me. But again guys, thanks for watching this video. Thanks to everyone that I saw at D-Max on the weekend who grabbed yourself one of the M Sport new t-shirts or the hoodies or any of the other merch as well. Shout out to all of you guys, and you've not missed out, you can grab some with the link in the description box below. But again, thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.